Hey everyone, welcome. I am so excited you're joining us for today's explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in, because today we are looking at some seriously amazing poetry from the biblical text. We're going to explore how his love is basically like a giant stone dropped into a quiet pond. It creates this massive ripple effect that starts right with us and then spreads out to the entire world. It's this beautiful, epic story of power, provision, and praise. To get us started, I really want you to picture the absolute most beautiful sunrise you have ever seen. You know, all those bright pinks, fiery oranges, and deep purples just lighting up the morning sky. And then think about a super quiet, peaceful sunset. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder who's behind all of that? Who literally makes the morning dawn and the evening fade? I mean, it takes incredible, awesome power to paint the sky like that every single day, right? Well, today, we're going to look at the answers found right there in the text. We're going to be focusing on two specific chapters today, Psalms 65 and 67. Now, here's what's actually really cool about this. These readings from the biblical text, they weren't just words meant to be read quietly in a dusty book. No way. They were actually ancient songs. They were written by David and meant to be sung out loud, with incredibly joyful music, played on stringed instruments like harps and lyres. Just imagine this huge, joyful concert where everyone is singing together for the director of music. But hey, before we get to the really big world-sized ripples, let's talk about something that happens to literally all of us. What happens when we make mistakes? Because let's be real, we all have moments where we do the wrong thing, right? Maybe you didn't listen to your parents, or maybe you were kind of unkind to a friend. Well, Psalm 65 starts right exactly there, at the personal level, and it sets up his absolutely incredible forgiveness. Now, the NIV version of the Bible uses a really big word for these mistakes. That word is transgressions. A transgression is, well, it's simply a sin, a wrongdoing, or a mistake we make when we just don't follow his rules. And the text says something super amazing here. It says that even when we are totally, completely overwhelmed by these transgressions, when we feel like we've messed up way too much, he forgives us. Just like that, he washes those mistakes completely away. And here's the best part. He doesn't just forgive us and then send us on our way. No, he actually brings us closer. The text tells us that he brings us near to live in his courts. Think of it kind of like getting a VIP, all-access pass to the most amazing place in the entire universe. His forgiveness brings us close to him, filling us with the good things of his holy temple, and he even answers our prayers with awesome and righteous deeds. So once we experience that forgiveness, we start to notice the next ripple of his power out in the world, and wow, is it huge. Just think about it. He uses his strength to command the biggest, most powerful things on earth. He formed the giant towering mountains by his power. Have you ever been to the ocean and seen massive waves crashing onto the beach? Well, he can still the roaring of the seas and their waves with just a single word. He even calms the turmoil and arguments of the nations. The text says the whole earth is literally filled with awe because of these wonders. Which, brings us right back to our beautiful sunrise and sunset from earlier. Psalm 65 has this beautifully poetic quote, "Where morning dawns, where evening fades, you call forth songs of joy." Because of his awesome power and his love, even the very start and the very end of the day seem to just sing with happiness. It's like the whole earth is reacting to him. And the thing is, he isn't just powerful, he's also an amazing provider. Let's walk through these simple steps to see exactly how he cares for the land. First off, he drenches the furrows. Those are the little trenches in a garden where seeds go. And he levels the ridges. Second, he softens up all the dirt with rain showers. Third, he blesses the crops so they grow nice and tall and healthy. And finally, he crowns the year with a huge bounty, providing so much grain that the wagons and carts are literally overflowing. And this brilliantly illustrates the joy of all that provision. The hills are clothed with gladness. I absolutely love this vivid imagery. I really want you to imagine massive hills and huge mountains actually getting dressed up in clothes made out of pure happiness. It's as if the earth is throwing this giant party because he's watered the land and made all the plants grow. The biblical text continues this really fun personification, and that's just a fancy word for when you give human feelings to things like nature. It says the meadows are covered with fluffy flocks of sheep, and the valleys are wearing blankets of golden grain. Because his enrichment is so incredibly abundant, the text says the meadows and valleys actually shout for joy and sing. The whole world is basically a choir praising him. So, up to this point, we've seen how Psalm 65 focuses all about his awesome power and provision in nature. The mountains, the oceans, the farms, and the rain. But as we shift gears into Psalm 67, the ripple gets even wider. It moves our focus from the physical land we stand on all the way to the people of the entire globe, focusing right on his salvation for all nations.
Psalm 67 starts off with this really famous, super beautiful prayer. The writer asks, "May God be gracious to us and bless us, and make his face shine on us." But wait, why? It's definitely not just so we can keep all those blessings to ourselves. The very next line in the text says this happens so that your ways may be known on earth, your salvation among all nations. He blesses us so that we can be like a shiny mirror, reflecting his love out to everyone else.
And when everyone else finally learns about him, man, they have a lot to celebrate. The text says the nations will be glad and sing for joy because he rules the peoples with equity. Now, equity is a really important word. It means complete fairness and justice. Think about when you're playing a game with your friends. You really want the rules to be fair for everyone, right? Well, he guides the nations of the earth with perfect fairness. And that is a massive reason for the whole world to celebrate. So the really crucial point here is how everything ties together. The land yields its harvest, just like those overflowing carts of grain we learned about in Psalm 65, and he blesses us. But the end goal is that all the ends of the earth will fear him. Now, really quick, in the biblical text, to fear him doesn't mean to be scared like you're hiding under your bed. Not at all. It means to stand in total awe and amazement of just how wonderful and powerful he is. And think about it. What do you do when you're in awe of someone that amazing? You praise them. Take a look at this joyful repetition right out of the text. May the peoples praise you, God. May all the peoples praise you. It's repeated because it's just that important. Everyone from every single nation, no matter where they live or what language they speak, is invited to join together in this big musical celebration to praise him.
So we've seen how his love creates this incredible ripple effect. He forgives our mistakes, he provides for the earth with rain and harvests, and he rules the whole world with total fairness. All of this makes the mountains, the valleys, and all the nations literally sing for joy. So I want to leave you with this final thought for today. If the whole earth and all the nations sing for joy because of his blessings, how are you going to share that joy today? Think about how you can take what you learned from these amazing Psalms and spread his joy to your friends and your family. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.